Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Cute Bots, an artwod workout. Nice, my intros are getting concise. Okay, yeah, well, last video I did this, which was like 3 hours worth, or 4 hours worth. Yeah, this is like 4 hours worth of drawing, right? What were we doing? We had a hinge mannequin, a hinge, which we mannequinized, which we just drew as forms, right? I'm just calling it a hinge mannequin. Um, and now, like, we tried drawing mech-like shapes around it, but now the next step is I've decided to take a pause on drawing that hinge mannequin. Well, no, not really, but I'm taking a pause in the sense that I have a couple mech designs up on Pinterest, like on my iPad over there, that I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna try to emulate the shapes that I find to be the most aesthetically pleasing. I think maybe I overwhelm myself, but either way, I'm gonna draw a bunch of the shapes which I like the most, and then we are going to try to internalize that, or at least embody that, like what I understand from the design, right? What I can understand from the design that's being drawn. So let me just start. This is a new pen, so it's good. The ink's gonna bleed quite a bit, as you can see, right? But yeah, I'm just going to focus on getting this initial shape down, and then we'll go from there. Right, it's actually pretty fucking good in the sense that it'll allow me to figure out what it is that I like and what it is that I don't like. I know right now it's just copying, and that's a no, we can't copy nowadays. But for me, it's just to get an idea about. And again, we're not trying to get it a one-to-one. That's one thing Antonio from artwod always says. It's like, it's not about fucking drawing it one-to-one. It's just about understanding what you are getting out of that drawing, right? Like, what am I getting out of that drawing? And right now, what I'm trying to get out of it is an understanding as to the types of shapes that can be drawn, right? This is basically like the reference I'm looking at is a fucking shoe, or like a foot, and it's a mechanical foot. Right, and then there's obviously mech parts being associated with that, but I'm actually way more focused on what they did to make it look cohesive and design. Like, what are the elements? Right, clearly big, medium, small. This is literally a big, medium, small. Now that's something to think about, because again, I really, really, really wish there was a fucking design course that actually went and explained big, medium, small the way artwod would do it. Right? Because I'm of the opinion that artwod would do it very well. I just wish they had a design course. But unfortunately, I think they're moving. They're not gonna do something like that anytime soon, from what I can tell. Okay, cool. I like that shape. That's a nice shape, right? We don't have to draw everything else. But even like with this, I can start thinking, well, how would the hinge, right? How would the hinge, the hinge mannequin stick out of that, right? So it'd be something like this, you know? Right? Come out, and then maybe we could get right. And then that is coming out through there. Know what I mean? There you go. Right. Oh wait, well, it's supposed to be this one actually. Ta-da! Right. It's not so bad, and then it just comes in, and there's the hinge, right? So here's the thing now, actually, now that I think about it. We have gotten literally one source of inspiration. Now we draw. Now we just draw the hinge, right? And we think about this one source of inspiration, and how we can apply it. So let's try that again, right? And again, I'm really am trying to think about the hinge in this case, right? But it's not just about that anymore. It's about how I can start designing shapes around it that make it look a lot more and it's not going to be perfect. Let's get that clear right now, right? But it's just about me trying to get an idea down, I guess is the best way to put it, right? Because now that's where the hinge is. I can do something like this. And over here we can do something like it's not going to be anything incredible. Let's be very clear on that. But what it is going to be is an opportunity to start thinking about these shapes in a way more hard surface manner, right? Because like, yeah, we have this now, but now I can maybe do something like that, right? And maybe I have drawn something like this before, but I just feel like I have a lot more opportunity for inspiration now in terms of what this can be, right? Same thing here. Perhaps it doesn't make too much sense. It's likely. It's very likely. But, or honestly, what it probably is the fact that I literally didn't even give myself a chance to commit. So we're actually not gonna do this. We're gonna stick to practicing this, right? So if we do that from a different perspective, because actually it's probably important to internalize, like, yeah, this is nice inspiration, but it kind of looks like fucking shit, let's be honest. And I'll be completely honest, I wasn't really thinking anywhere near as much as I should have, right? I'm actually a bit stumped, I'm not gonna lie. When I was looking at the mech references, they're so unique, they're all like, all the shapes look nice and all that stuff. So what is it that I need to do, right? We need to figure out what it is that I need to do. Well, I need to just pick, I don't know, like 4 to 5 shapes, right? This has to be a productive session, obviously, so I need to pick, yeah, like 4 to 5 shapes which I really like in terms of mechanical information. Or maybe actually what I need to do is look at these and start coming up with my own mech type shapes. So maybe that's what I'm gonna do, right? Because clearly that's the whole point, is we're supposed to use these as inspiration, right? We're not supposed to be copying them. So with that in mind, I need to think about how actually, yeah, this should honestly just be like an ideation session, right? Just a pure ideation session. And I should just really try to focus on trying to yeah, just emulate the mechanical design and probably try to speak it out loud, right? That would probably help too. So what am I noticing? I'm noticing a lot of multiple rounding. I'm noticing a lot of cutouts, Right? Lots and lots of cutouts and diagonals, right? That seemed to be key. You know, cutouts and diagonals, right? And then of course little line indications as to the form itself. What else am I noticing? I'm noticing a lot of unique shapes, and they're kind of like, they leave gaps, right? So here's actually where a little hinge could be, right? This is actually an incorrect perspective. I'm gonna have like a little cylinder there, right? But, and I think that's actually the incorrect perspective, but either way, noticing a lot of yeah, cutouts, multiple roundings, gaps, right? What else are we noticing? Lots of cylinders. So we could have something like, and lots of hinges, of course. So lots of cylinders, lots of stuff like that. What else? What else are we noticing? Let's just keep thinking out loud. Right? And this is all just from like this one picture that has 6 different types of mechanical feet designs for a robot, right? Like it's all derived. You can see this like part of the foot, the front part of the foot. Now I just need to take that to my understanding, right? It could easily be something like this, right? That's a hinge, or not a hinge. That's just like something attached to it, you know. Oh, and there's a lot of this as well. Little cutouts in perspective, of course, right? What else? There are, and how thick and thin are they? We gotta like just keep thinking out loud, right? Like, are they wrapping? They could be wrapping, right? And I'm obviously trying to think about the perspective as much as I can. Wait, what are they wrapping into? Aren't there? There are cylinders, of course. Yeah, this is something I recommend everybody does. Like the thinking out loud is helping a lot, by the way. Right, it's wrapping, and then there's a little diagonal there. Obviously, this is kind of off perspective, but you can do something like that. Right. What else? What else is happening? And this is, we're just purely doing forms right now, right? So that is obviously the only thing I don't like. But what else is happening? I'm just looking at all these examples. Okay, we have little circular cutouts, right? So we could do something like that. What else is happening? It's all slight form indications, so I could even do something like, oh, that helps with the mech-ness of it. And there's a decent amount of complexity, so even something like I'm just trying to think. Right. Something like this, like little cylinders jutting out, adds complexity. Right. And that is like we can see on the other side, so I guess that's fine too. What else? What else is there? By the way, like I'm making this up, but I'm using the design language that I'm seeing from, like I wish the fucking artist, like I do wish I could give you guys the artist. It's just called, like the name of this image on Pinterest is just, it's by an account that's CS Aspirant Divya, which is, you know, like it's just a name. I know someone called Divya, that's the funny part. But let's see. Like, and I just, it doesn't have a name, but I just typed in mech design, right? Or mech parts. And if you just see like feet that look like mechs, that's what it is. I can't give you more than that. But yeah, like that's pretty mechy, right? But how does a hinge come into that? You know, that's the real question. Something like that. And you know, that's actually pretty cool because again, we can just create it, right? It's not bad at all, to be honest. You know? And it's like, okay, it's a hinge. I probably could and should have attached like more mech things surrounding it, but I was just trying to figure out how it would thing. But that was just like a fucking helmet attached to a hinge. So I'm gonna rest my brain, and we're gonna keep going, and we're really gonna try to think about these mech parts because I feel like I'm starting to understand a little bit, right? In terms of like there's even shapes that come out. So even this could be right. There's just a lot that can be done, you know, and it can come on both sides. Like that, right? And just even drawing cylinders and doing little indications helps quite a bit in establishing the 3D nature of the form. But and I think that can be extended over to here as well, where if I look at the example, right, even something like adding a little of these, and then again little form indication, right? Like that stuff seems to make a huge difference. And I could even just say, oh well, something like that. Pretty interesting. It already looks kind of mech-y, but this is good. Like I'm struggling, but I want to be able to visualize, not obviously like all at once all of this, but to aim to visualize all of this all at once. But yeah, let me rest my brain. We're gonna try again. So yeah, let's just keep thinking like what type of stuff is happening. It's usually because in the example, the thing is hinges actually very hinges, pivots, all that stuff. They're relatively hidden, but they don't have to be hidden, right? So for example, we could do something like, and I'm just kind of looking at what's already here, you know. And I'm just really trying to kill my brain again. I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it. The goal for me is just to really fuck my brain up, fam. But let me just think in terms of let's see, and then we could do something like and what else? If I look at the reference, right, and there's multiple different things to the reference, even something like this can make a pretty big difference in terms of kind of what occurs. Like I'm just thinking out loud, but like yeah, what can occur as attachments to what I'm drawing, right? And let's see. And like the thing is, the variety of the shape matters too, right? The shape in of itself needs to be relatively interesting. So even something like that, which isn't anything super crazy, but just trying to think. Something like that. Keep thinking about the hinge mannequin, right? So I'm just trying to think what it would look like. Something like that. There's this right here. Right? Does that make sense? No, not really. I still struggle with that quite a bit. Clearly, I don't struggle with the other end. So, I should probably spend a lot of time trying to do that. Figure that out. I need to understand like what works and what doesn't, right? In terms of this hinge. So the main thing is the fact that specific things do work. They have to work, right? So maybe I could, because you see that shape a lot, quite a bit in mech design, right? We do show you, I do show you. We do see this shape quite a bit, right? And now the question becomes kind of what is surrounding it? Because this is the hinge. And thankfully I see that now, right? And if I keep looking at this reference and kind of how they connect things, right? There's a lot of ways to connect this. There's a, right, we could do this, and then we could have something like, right? I'm just trying to think out loud here. We could something like that. Right? And then on the other end, it's still it's not really connected properly. But yeah. Well, this shape isn't that good. But I'm actually starting to understand a little bit as to what it is that we need to be doing. And let's just get this done. Right? I love having a new pen because it really forces me to. Oh, I lost the perspective there immediately. So this shape is actually completely zero sense made. Right? So we're just gonna leave it. We're just gonna leave it. Maybe we'll just add this. But yeah, this shape doesn't make too much sense. But I struggled, which is good. So let's try that one more time. And the biggest thing again is like honestly, while I do this, I think I found a good way to marry what I was trying to do earlier, which is like, oh, look at mech design and then try to draw it underneath. I think it's look at mech shapes, right? Look at the designs. Try to understand what I can understand out of it in terms of how they interact with their hinges, their pivots. And then while internalizing this hinge mannequin, draw shapes around it that are my understanding of like what I'm being inspired by right now, basically, like what I'm seeing. Right? So this, again, I'm just kind of basing it off of And again, anything about the hinge and all of this. Right, so we can do something like that. That's something we're legally allowed to do, I believe. Right? So we can do something like that. Cool. And I don't know what the fuck happened, but I've just gotten better with the brush pen. Like my lines are so thin now. Right? Obviously there's still a lot of times when they aren't, like when I do something like this. Right? You can see it's pretty mid. I'm sure to many people you'll be like, what the fuck is he talking about? But I can feel that it's uncomfortable. Right? And it's stuff like this where I can start doing the hinge, right? So again, if we look at the examples, we can start following them. So even something like that, which is something that I do see, right? It's always good to take inspiration. Again, it's just about like finding out what I like and what I don't, for lack of a better word. And clearly I can't even fucking explain myself, but the point being, I'm just trying to find out my definition of pleasing shapes, right? And that just comes from constantly trying, clearly. But again, I'm really trying to internalize the hinge mannequin in all of this. And this is how we can do it, right? Let me just try to think. Something like that. They would come down. I'm trying to figure this out. What's the real question is, right, like what can kind of be wrapped around this? You know? Maybe something like this, actually. Right? Something like this. I'm still trying to think about the hinge mannequin, let it be known. Right? That's kind of just wrapped around it. And we can say it's wrapped around the other side as well. And it stops right there. And I don't know, we have something like this. Right? What is that actually? I have no idea. I have no idea. I see stuff like this as well from this reference. But that's the hinge on one side, right? And then we can just extrapolate that to the other. And yeah, something like this, right? Now, does a hinge really need to be that complicated? I don't know. I actually, no, like I literally don't know if this makes sense in terms of literally like just functionality wise. But at least You guys can see I'm trying to retain that hinge shape, right? I think this is the best part, is where we can start doing stuff like this. It's like, okay, we will retain that hinge, and then just create maybe another hinge behind it, right? Like that. And it, why don't we have two instead? Yeah, there you go. And it's like, okay, cool. Now we have quote unquote design, right? And that is pretty cool, because it all started with this one hinge. And now, hold up. Yeah, now it's way more than that. See, something like this. And it's, again, it's spreading outward, right? So we can have something that starts pretty thin. And then it can spread outward again. But again, I know, like, that's a bit messy, right? It's a bit messy. And then if I were to just do a little bit of what the reference does, little dots. They have like little arrows pointing. You know, what else? They even have. I'm trying to think. Let's see, what else do they have? Fuck if I know. Okay, let me rest my brain. It's already been half an hour. What the fuck? Was I thinking? I think I was thinking. Let me rest my brain. I'll try again. But clearly, complicated things can be made from these hinges. Now it's actually just more about functionality. This isn't that functional. You know what I mean? Not that I know what like an extremely functional shape is, but obviously I would like to try and get that making a little bit of sense. Right? So let's try that again. And let's maybe look at a different example. Why don't we do that? Right? This one has its own different little shapes. Fucking, I hate Pinterest, bro. I hate how like you can't just look at an image without the stupid pop-ups and shit. Like more like this, and it doesn't go away. But whatever. Okay, so I can do something like this, I think. We can, yeah, maybe I can do something like, see, I'm trying to visualize this very, very, very much so. Right? Because I want to actually see the mannequin in my mind before I start adding shit to it. Something like that. And then it's, let's just say the hinge got cut off actually. Right? But something like this is what I'm seeing. Right? And then obviously we can do little cutouts like that as well. You know, indicating lines. Not that I know what that means, but I'm just trying to think. Because I actually lost the mannequin here. So, and this is actually an incorrect ellipse. There you go. That's a bit better. Right? And let's think about the box that this is encompassed in. Because there's always a box that it's encompassed in. I'm just trying to think if this is like that. Right, then this should be okay, because I'm obviously confused about how even now, like how this turns inwards. Right, so it's just about trying to figure that out for myself right now. Follows that, then it goes diagonal, and then it goes straight. It's more subtle, but either way, we do have this hinge. And I'm still thinking, by the way, don't worry. I'm literally like all I've been doing is fucking grinding my brain thinking about this. Right, because we can do something like that. But then it curves inward. And then it goes straight. That just looks fucking retarded. I get it so easily on the right side too. They're like the opposite end, but the end where it's facing me. Right, we gotta, let's try that again. Right, so I got this. And then it's, oh, what the fuck? No, and then it's this, right? And then it curves in and goes straight. So it's just, right? Isn't that right? Is that not correct? I think the curve just needs to be a lot more subtle, right? But even that looks stupid. By the way, I'm not being mean to myself. I say these words, but trust me when I don't think actually like I'm bad or anything. Just a matter of speaking. Maybe it's difficult to understand that I can separate my language from my thoughts, but I can, because I've trained myself to. Right? Well, let's just do this. Get that done. That's a mistake, which is fine. Just want to think about how like what shapes I can use, right? It's all about the little hard surface shapes. And what can be done here? That's just this. Cool. And then what? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, that is the hinge, but hinge doesn't make any sense. It's too big. I don't like it when I make the hinge this big, to be honest, but it's okay. It's just another skill to practice. Right, let's look at what's done here. Okay, so I could literally just cut it off. I look at the example shown, right, we could just do something like this. And then it adds like another little addition, basically, which is pretty cool, not gonna lie, right? It even does something like this. Yeah, that's a subtraction. So it's like adding subtractions and additions within. So my understanding is like, let's say we have a rounded square. It's basically saying cut off this part slightly and then just add something jutting out of it like that, and then like cut off this part slightly and then subtract something in that. That's my general understanding right now, because I'm not gonna have like a very advanced understanding. Yeah, we can add like a little, we can add like I need to speak up. We can add a little rounded ellipse, right? Let's see. Oh, I see something unique, so maybe we could try that. Okay, so we obviously can do something like this. I'm glad I'm actually getting better at seeing the box while I draw this thing, which is good. Because for the longest time, it was very difficult, but now, as I continue to do it over and over and over and over, what a goddamn shock, it's getting easier. Who would have thought intentional repetitions were the key to intentionally repeating something? I fucking knew it. I knew my mom was right. There you go. This is what I want to try, because this is what I see in a little bit, like I see something similar to this. So obviously we are going to manipulate it a little bit, right? We don't want it to be that big. We're going to taper this slightly, and then we're going to add a little manipulation. Or not a manipulation, sorry. We're gonna add a little how did this do it? Oh, it just kind of did it like this. Okay, I'll just try that. Let's see, it did this. And then we're just gonna, it's kind of off, which is good, but we can just right there you go. It's attached to itself, and this is obviously a different reference that I'm looking at. Not bad. And then again, we can look at the tiny little things this one adds too, right? So we can add a little, really just like a little, what is it? Little jut out, right? We can do that. We can add the same thing on the other side to make it be like, oh look, it's even. Right? And then it adds, what else? What other random little mech details are prominent? Something like this. Right? There you go. Little fucking circles everywhere for everybody. But that's not bad. I want to draw the mannequin smaller though. I want to add things around the mannequin, obviously, but would you look at this? Nothing's changed in terms of my skill level, but purely by looking at mech, like actual mech designs, right, on Pinterest or whatever, like how people draw them, whatever. But just looking at these examples has already made these look so much more mechanical. The function may not be there because I'm still trying to figure that out, and I think that'll just come with from practicing the actual workout itself, right? But it's pretty awesome. But now I can actually start thinking about it as like robot parts, I think. So I'm gonna rest my brain, and then we're gonna. I'm gonna. I don't know why the fuck I keep saying we. Oh, by the way, I hope you're drawing along. Completely forgot to do that this time around. But I'm gonna try to start thinking about it in terms of like a robot's arm, or like a fucking neck part, or something, right? Like it's time to give intent, because these look cool and all, but I think intention is also really important. That way I can actually visualize it, is the main thing. I can actually start visualizing it legitimately, and I really want to do that. So let me rest my brain. Okay, so let's try maybe a neck. The neck is a pivot more than a hinge, so maybe we can try the shoulder, right? We can try the shoulder. So what would that look like, right? If we're going by the little mechanical and I'm looking at a different reference now again. Like, it's good to just kind of get an idea of how different people do things, even though this one doesn't seem like it has a lot to offer me. You would be surprised, right? We would all be generally surprised as to what can be offered by many things. And again, trying to really think about it in terms of like mechanical design, right? So there's our pivot, or like our hinge, right? Little something outlining it, perhaps, right? Trying to think more yeah, trying to think more mechanical. But and obviously I think I'm going to start changing proportions here and there, because that's obviously important to do. There you go. Now we have our little hinge. Completely fucked that up though, which is fine, right? Also, the perspective is off, which is what it is. But I'm just trying to think about ideations, right? Little shape intricacies. I did visualize this, which I'm really proud of, by the way. Like this specifically, what we're seeing here. And I am constantly trying to visualize the rest of it as well. That comes with practice. And time, right? So, again, this is all derived from a hinge, which is pretty fucking awesome. I'm trying to think about this in a different perspective while I draw it as well, because I haven't been doing that enough. But let me just do this again. That helps, right? Cool. This should help. These little confirming lines, right? Contour lines, not contour lines, form lines, I guess you could call them. And then, of course, it's the same on the other side. And this is where I can look at my references again and see, okay, how did they kind of work around that? Okay, so they did something like, and I love how this is all just based off one hinge design, right? They did something like this. But do I want to do something like that? Maybe. Let's see, what does that look like? Okay. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here. I was just trying to maybe ideate on something cool. Right? I'm just trying to think out loud. I'm just looking at the concept provided by the reference that I'm looking at. But like this type of stuff, right? It's kind of like a giant dick at this point. But here, I know how to bring it back. Right? Which is just something like that. And this little thing will connect to that. So like that's the bottom of the hinge. Looks okay. Honestly, nothing amazing. That's that. Should have been a bit lower actually. Whatever. And then we have the top of the hinge, which we still have not done. And I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think. But I feel as if just focusing on design is taking away so much of my brain energy. It's actually really hard to think about the perspective in the box and the lines and rotating in my mind and perspective. So really, I'm kind of unfortunately relying on intuition here. I'll be completely honest with you guys and girls, blah blah blah. That I am relying a decent amount on intuition right now. And it's just what it is. What can you do sometimes? And before anybody asks, I personally don't like relying on intuition. There's nothing wrong with having a very strong intuition. This is basically an intuition design, right? It looks pretty okay. But I personally always want to be thinking. That's just me. I just always want to be thinking. Right? I don't ever want to offset any cognitive energy to intuition because I just want to hurt my brain a lot. Right? Like a lot. You know, I like the feeling of being in extreme mental discomfort because I feel as if that's when I've been trying the hardest, right? Like right now, when I created that ellipse, I thought of it in multiple perspectives, and that felt really fucking good. You know? So that's just me. That's just what I specifically want. And I personally think it's very beneficial just to be thinking all the time when it comes to art. Because you are just improving your spatial reasoning. Like if drawing is thinking, right? If drawing is thinking, you know, very fucking general. It's pretty basic if there. The answer is yes, drawing is thinking. Then we must do obviously things that challenge the spatial reasoning. Right? And for me, that just means for me that just means think very hard, right? Think very hard, really fucking kill your brain, you know? And yeah, I understand that probably doesn't look like already holy shit 55 minutes of work, right? This doesn't probably look like 55 minutes of drawing, but it is, because this is what taking your time and really thinking things through looks like, right? Especially when you're retarded like me. I'm just trying to figure out what else maybe I can add. Looking at my little inspirations. See, thankfully I only picked like 4 or 5 pictures. Antonio from artwod says this one thing, which I do feel as it makes a lot of sense, which is stop fucking trying to like there's no point in picking a million references and trying to combine all of them. Right? For me, I'm trying to keep that in mind. So I didn't pick a million references. I just like these were based on literally one, right? Like the 6 options within that one, but basically like the design ideas of one. This was that other one, and then this is another one, right? But this is really fun. This is fucking fun as shit. I can't lie, right? Just the fact that it already starts to look more realistic, and I'm starting to understand. So it's basically we have large shapes that also have kind of they're implied, right? Their form is that was horrible, Jesus Christ, but their form is implied. And maybe they have smaller things attached to them, like so, right? Maybe. And if we're going by big, medium, and small, like if this is big, this is medium, and then maybe small is just right, and that's one big, medium, and small. And then maybe like the other big, medium, and small is that we have something like right, that's another big because it's let's say because it is like that, right? And then maybe the medium in this is this, something like this, right? Which is like, hey man, let's just add a medium-sized shape to this, and then the small will just be like that. Maybe I don't know, and then we can maybe add that. There you go. Right, already kind of looks mech-like, but I think I'm actually starting to understand what big, medium, and small is. It's like it's just like different little compartments, right? And then within that, it's like this could be big, right? This right here could be like this. Genuinely could be big. And then medium could be let's see, what can medium be? Let me actually add it on the other side. How would we see it on the other side? Something like that. It wouldn't really be much more than that. Right, and then medium could be, I don't know. And I know like I'm kind of fucking the drawing up. I've noticed that like I need to focus on putting drawings like nice and spaced out. Like this is bleeding into this one. I guess I'm okay with it because these are just studyings anyways. But medium could be I don't know. This is where I can take inspiration, right? This is literally where I can just take inspiration. Yeah, medium can maybe be something like this. Right, where it's attached. You know what I mean? And then maybe small is just let's see, if I look at the example, small could be something like this. Right? It's all in perspective, of course. Right? This can be small. Ta-da! Big, medium, small. You know? At the very least, and also this medium looks pretty bad, which is why I design language, which is, I guess, graphic shapes that kind of, you know, look interesting And what is interesting? Well, after what, like 15 fucking hours of practice, or if not 20, interesting is basically diagonals, cutouts, and additions within those diagonals, right? Like this technically, and like differences in variation of shapes. Like this technically could be something that's possibly interesting, because, and like, you know, things that connect and all that stuff, right? So, you know, this could possibly be interesting, because as we keep adding to it, and we keep adding to it, it kind of just keeps having little additions, right? That are being connected. This is okay. I don't think, I'm just trying to, I wasn't really thinking here, which shows, but I guess that's just the way I'm trying to think about design. I feel as if I've learned a lot, like genuinely learned a lot. I'm gonna keep cycling through these like 4 or 5 references that I have, and we're gonna keep ideating on how we can make this hinge look interesting. Interesting is such a difficult word, but because it really comes down to just experimenting with, yeah, like angle changes, size changes, big, medium, small, like intersections and all that stuff. But I feel as if I have definitely learned a decent amount. I just need to start figuring out how to connect all of this, right? You know, if we have the hinge, and let's say it's from the back, right? So if we have it like, why the fuck is this so much easier than this? Okay, let's say this is the box. I'm just trying to think right now. I have to figure this fucking out. I have to figure this out, because this is what's really gonna hurt my brain, which is good. But let's say that's the hinge, and I just need to think this through. That must be what it is. Yeah, like that. But that looks so fucking retarded. It doesn't make any sense. Ah. Or is it like this? Is it just that? Maybe it's just that. But either way, I was just thinking, like, if this is the hinge, lots of things can happen here, right? I could even do something like, let's see. Right? And then it could come down this way. We could, it's kind of like, it's just experimenting with the shapes, right? I'm just trying to think out loud. This shape obviously looks kind of fucking garbage beyond balls, but because I don't think I made the perspective make any sense. But either way, what I'm trying to make is we could start adding things. Maybe my brain just isn't working right now. But yeah, it's like, what else? What other types of things do exist? Right? I feel as if even I haven't been capitalizing on as many blocky shapes like that. Right? Because there's a lot of that. Like even something like that, right? Like these are pretty hinge like, or not hinge like, but mech like. Like I'm seeing a lot of this. I mean, if I'm seeing it, clearly it has value, you know. And then even this, some stuff like this. It's like what I'm noticing is that things don't continue on forever, right? They just stop at a certain point. So even something like this just stops, right? And then, maybe we get little cylinders attached to it, and like different types of cylinders as well, right? I'm just trying to figure out, and again, like I keep seeing lots of little circles. And in this, I really like this first example with like the foot. This one, the person who drew like this. Clearly, they understand their shapes very well, but Ishal experiment. It's Ishal. It's again, they have another shape that's like this, right? And then it, like if that's the perspective, they go upward, and then they go backwards, and then they round back. So like upwards, right? Something like that. Well, I shouldn't have made that curved, but I think hopefully my point is being understood. The thing is, there's a lot of ideation going on. This one actually goes a little bit back, and see, and then it comes out like that. So there's a lot of little ways they're improving these shapes, and it feels as if that's where I need to see. I literally forgot I could add curves to my shapes, and look, even just like that, we got a little hinge design right there. Boom. Same thing here, right? I feel as if I'm not capitalizing on all the different ways that shapes can and should be manipulated, but I can just boom. Look at that. That's where the hinge is connected, and we can just create a nice little cutout for it here. We could even, as always, just make it stick out a little bit, right? Boom. Cool, right? All from just creating little interesting shapes. I guess this is big, medium, small in the hinge. There you go. See? But I mean, this was a great session. Holy fuck, I learned a lot when it comes to these shapes. Of course, I think the next step, honestly, is probably not probably. I think I want to take a break from not a break, but I probably should spend the next hour, like tomorrow, just practicing the mech shapes in general, right? Like really just practicing these different, taking inspiration from, of course, what I've seen, but just practicing these mech shapes in general, right? And then yeah, like drawing the hinge in there somewhere, a different type of reverse engineering. But obviously what I'm gonna do moving forward is like when I'm drawing these mech shapes and I'm connecting them, I'm gonna keep thinking about the hinge. It's actually I guess what I'm saying is I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but the framing in which I'm gonna do it in is gonna be putting the mannequin in there, and then so it's the same shit. It's the same shit, but like with the added information of these mech shapes. Nothing changed. I'm sorry, fucking confusing everybody and myself, right? So all I'm saying is, great, this mech shape, like using inspiration from Pinterest, like the things I've saved, right, has been great. So I simply need to move forward, continue visualizing the mannequin at all times, like as fucking well as I can visualize it. And now the focus is taking inspiration from these mech shapes that I've seen and really taking my time to design them. So what I've been doing, but more of that. So fucking genius. I'm just reiterating that. Hey, let's keep going. But amazing session. I learned a lot. I definitely learned quite a fucking bit. It's just funny to me because like this doesn't look like much in terms of drawings, but for me personally, it's so fucking valuable. So I'm glad. This is the shit that I want people to see, like literal garbage, right? Like literal fucking slow drawing, fucking brain hurting, thinking hard, right? Not really knowing what I'm doing, but at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but I can see where I can go from not knowing what I'm doing to kind of understanding. And that's what's important, right? Like I can see how I can progress. So yeah, as I said before, like I can go off on this hinge thing. You know, we'll probably do this mech design stuff with the hinge, like internalizing it properly. And now that we have inspiration from mech designs, I think this is a great foundation, because any future hinge, like the one or two more that I'm going to internalize, right, along with the pivots and the ball and joints, are going to be um, enhanced by my practice now, which is these hinge practices, right? Or not the hinge practice, sorry, like inspirationally drawing mech and trying to understand mech shapes, right? So yeah, next time I'm really, really, really gonna focus on internalizing the hinge, right? Visualizing it, the box, all that stuff, everything I've been doing before, trying to see it from a different perspective. But really now, ensuring that my mechanical designs that I encompass them in are inspired and directed based on the references that I'm using, which are really good references for, as you can see, like that looks really cool, like hinge designs. Mine are pretty garbage compared to that, but really just trying to understand that, right? And honestly, I might as well just copy some of them, because if those are the shapes that look interesting, why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? You know, great artists steal. I'm gonna steal that shit. So literally, might as well just copy the ones I like the best and the types of styles and designs I like the best, right? And go from there. So yeah, wonderful. I hope if my thing wasn't insightful in some way in how I approached this, great. If not, I hope you just drew and had fun and really, really, really tried. I really, really tried. As always, I could have always tried more, but hey, if my kind of 7 out of 10 trying, 6 out of 10, I don't know. I don't know if I tried, to be honest. Fuck. I think I did, but I definitely could have been in much more discomfort. But either way, maybe I'll come back for another hour drawing today. Who fucking knows? I honestly just might. But hey, with that being said, I hope you tried. Hope you had fun. And with what the fuck am I saying? Whatever. As always, this outro is going to shit. As always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing. Please give me money. Fucking goodbye.